obviously this is all tied to the resurrection, right? So you don't have a kingdom without a resurrection. So don't think that you're going to go to the kingdom of heaven if you're not resurrected yet. No, we're all going to go into the grave, into Sheol, the gravedom. But with that being said, in Judaism, and this is where probably your research and will probably give you different things, because Jews had different ideas about the resurrection. So when I say when here will these things happen, I have in mind the resurrection. So the first thing you're going to find if you do a little bit of research is that in the Old Testament idea, that it wasn't clearly defined whether the resurrection, which is tied to the kingdom, right, was a national thing only. In other words, only Israel would be raised, or it extended to other nations. So there wasn't clarity on that. They also were not clear. When I say not clear, I mean there's a lot of extra biblical stuff outside the Bible that Jews wrote, but that sort of contradicts, the biblical Old Testament account. So I'm talking here about books like Baruch and Enoch, which is a apocryphal book. So there, you got two thoughts. You got a physical resurrection, a literal physical resurrection, but some Jews thought it was only spiritual. The other thought was they were the second resurrection. Now we get a lot of questions about, where are you getting the second resurrection? There's only one resurrection. It's true. The Old Testament really only has one resurrection. In other words, it doesn't give us a lot of information. I'm thinking of Daniel 12.
Many of those who sleep in the dust of the ground will awake, these to everlasting life, but the others to disgrace and everlasting contempt.
Right, that's clear. One resurrection, right? The good will live and the bad will be destroyed. I don't see there two resurrections. So again, there's different... But in books like Enoch, the apocryphal Jewish book, you do have two resurrections. So you do have a gap of the God raising the just, the good, the saints, and later on he raises the wicked to judge, and so on. Also remember, in the Gospels themselves, we have a group of Jews called the Sadducees, who believed in no resurrection. They came to Jesus about, hey, Jesus, tell us about the resurrection. They're always testing Jesus. I love that. These guys had no afterlife. So the Jews are working off a present evil age, right? And we got the scriptures there. The kingdom of God begins, and Satan is bound and all that. And then the age to come. So that's pretty much the New Testament idea. That's what they had in mind. So when will all these things take place? So you got general signs in Matthew 24, if we go through that. And you have false messiahs. Remember, the first section is about false messiahs, wars, pandemics. Then you got the Great Tribulation, the abomination and all this, and earth and heavenly tremors, or, I don't think that's spiritual. That's an actual physical happening. Because remember, Hebrews 1, I take that literal. So there's a change coming, and it's obviously going to be seen and felt. Then you obviously have the second coming at the end of that chapter, starting verse 20. It looks like there's a war in heaven, because remember, Revelation talks about Jesus riding the white horse, and remember his clothing. Sounds like there's some kind of confrontation there as he's coming down, or before he comes. Probably getting rid of all those satanic cosmocrator, the forces up there. There are demonic angels and stuff up there. And then he sends the angels, remember, to the 4 points to gather the church, the international church. And then he defeats Satan and binds Satan.